support cruiser first is probably Coalition and Saban's safest opener, and it's also generally seen as the best standard opener. As you might guess from the name, it means you make a support cruiser first before making any offensive units, but there's a couple ways to do it. It's very easy to execute, doesn't take very many mind games, and tends to lead to situations where your economy is very strong and you're able to make a lot of units so long as you can defend your base. In this video, I'll go through the 3 typical ways to do support cruiser first, and then talk about some general themes that apply to all of them. We call these builds 6-up, 7-up, and 8-up, and it refers to the number of salvagers that you'll have on the field before you make your first support cruiser. 6-up is the safest build. You should only use this if you really expect an opponent to rush you and you're having trouble defending. Put your starting salvagers onto CUs, then queue up 2 more. Once they finish, save up for a support cruiser. It's that easy! Save up for LAV fabrication while the support cruiser is building. Once you get 300 CUs, start it. Now, it's important that we launch a probe to get scouting, so that we can find out if our opponent is rushing us or not. However, don't launch the probe before LAV fabrication is started. Even if we launch the probe first and we see the enemy coming in with a rush, we can't deal with it because we don't have LAV fabrication on the way. You're really just slowing yourself down unless you go for LAV fabrication first. Trust me, I've seen this so many times. Stop doing it. Anyway, once the support cruiser finishes, move your carrier out so that the support cruiser kind of just slides right into place. I often move out a little bit too far or a little bit too early, but that's okay, you're not going to lose much by this. Start building salvagers for your second base and boom, there you go. 2 base economy. Nice, right? You may be wondering if it's always important for the carrier to move out on the second base. I would say yes. I think the reason is because when we make our next support cruiser to move on to our third base, if our carrier is on our first base, then the support cruiser has to move much further away. This is probably a small deal, but small things make the difference. Another small thing you can do, by the way, is point the support cruiser toward your carrier so that if it gets attacked, it can get over to the carrier faster and get into safety. I know I did that really fast in the video using the V-move command, but hopefully you were able to see it. Of course, you don't have to have 8 million APM like me to pull off this build. In my opinion, 7-up is the most versatile of the builds. It's not very greedy, but it's not too safe. You'll generally be able to get away with 7-up. Plus it's a hecka fine soda, right? The basic principle is the same. We're going to queue up 3 salvagers, so we have 7 salvagers total, then we'll make our support cruiser. However, this time we're going to involve a carrier rotation. This will make the 7th salvager just a little bit more effective. Here's how to rotate a coalition carrier. Hit V, click on where the rally point comes out of the carrier, then drag the V-move icon outside of the green circle that surrounds the carrier. This is a serious nugget of wisdom, my friends. Do not forget it. This actually also works for Galzian and Coneth, by the way. As you can see, I get a little try-hardy here and execute a quick drop to get the support cruiser out faster. You don't need to do this. But what you definitely need to do is rotate the carrier again, so that the support cruiser doesn't come out the wrong end. That can cause some big problems. You should notice that your LAV timing is just a little bit slow. Oh, don't worry about what God Hates Weebs is typing, by the way. He doesn't know. Don't worry about it. Anyway, you'll notice that your LAV timing is just a little bit slower when you do 7-up. This is why I said that 6-up is a little bit safer. But usually you can get away with 7-up. It's not very ambitious. 8-up is a little bit more risky because your LAV timing will be delayed further. But if you can get away with it, your economy will be stronger. Use 8-up when you don't believe that your opponent is going to attack you, or when you're on a safe map like, say, the Shallows. 8-up is my go-to strategy in 2v2s or 3v3s because we have a lot of time before the opponent gets to us. If the same thing is going to apply in a 1v1 match, go for it. You'll get a nice advantage out of 8-up. Execute 8-up the same way that you would have done a 7-up, just with 4 salvagers instead of 3. Put your starting salvagers onto CUs, then queue up 2 salvagers to the RUs on your main. Then queue up 2 salvagers to long distance mine. After that, save up for support cruiser. While the support cruiser is on the way, get LAV fabrication, then launch a probe. You may be tempted to retire the base runner at the beginning of the game, but I usually wouldn't recommend this. The turret is really strong for the defense, the probe is great for scouting, and even the Saban base runner can be useful with that targeting jammer. If your opponent uses a pro strat like this, for example, you need that base runner to put down the AA turret or you're just done for. I mean, this could have gone really badly for me.
Wait orders. The captain, deploy a turret.
Overall, you shouldn't have too much trouble defending support cruiser first builds, especially if you go for AAV tech. That's my typical follow-up. If you see a whole bunch of LAVs on your doorstep like this, probably a good idea to set down a turret. That's one reason why we kept the base runner. I'll let this play out for just a little bit so you can get an idea of how to defend. Really good idea is to smoke the support cruiser. If they can get some damage on that support cruiser, it's probably not going to get repaired anytime in the game, so you really want to make sure you keep it safe. God Hates Weebs does a really good job here targeting my logistics module, but the AAV is able to keep him at bay. I can get that repaired as well using the support cruiser, so this will be a fine defense. And because my opponent didn't go support cruiser first, I should have an advantage over him as we move later on into the game. There might be other variants of support cruiser first that work effectively. You'll just have to try them out and see. But hopefully from this video you've taken away a couple of very strong builds that can really take you into the top level of play. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and as always, catch you next time.